Just think about it for a minute, because like what you had said, if you could put $40,000 in my bank account, to be honest with you, I read about on LinkedIn these offers that are made by digital marketers, in which they are claiming that they can get can increase a coach's income to 100,000 a month or something like that.
Yeah, everybody's doing
those
that.
things don't. Those don't appeal to me, because I'm in a whole different world. I am just truly in a whole different world, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but I've been financially independent since 1982, and I'm 85 years old. I don't have anything to prove, and the reason that I am active is because I'm afraid that if I stop, I'll die. That's what happens to my friends when they retire; they just die. And that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not desperate. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Please continue. I mean, I'll continue when you're done with it. Thank you.
Yeah. And I don't think that I take advantage of anyone. And so the problem that I have has to do with the website. And so I'm trying to get the guy to hurry up and finish it. Each week he tells me the same thing. I've done almost everything, and it should be finished. But in any case, let's stick with what I just said. It's like the trainings are the things that are important to me. And so that I would like to increase the number of trainings that I do, because that produces the second largest source of income from my work. The first one is the coaching, which I don't think that I ever really explained to you, if you really had thought about how that really works. My referrals do not come from people, from individuals, really. They come from organizations, and my fees are not paid by people, doctors. My fees are paid by multi-state or multinational healthcare organizations. My largest single client is Hospital Corporation of America. They have hospitals in every state in the U.S. And so that they can afford to pay me $8,000 for physicians. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Like, as you mentioned, you had 3 referrals of physicians who's paying $8,000, which adds up to $24,000.
And so that it isn't really, they know who I am anyway, so that it doesn't matter to them that my website is not functional, because they know how to reach me on anyway, so they just call me up. And so what they do then is that that's one. The other one is that another one is Tenet, T-E-N-E-T, healthcare. And so it's an interesting story. And I think I said it in some of my trainings, because I say the same there all the time. But essentially, it's a hospital chain, and it's related to a mandated intervention for physicians all over the U.S. And what the mandate is, the Joint Commission says that if a doctor has a problem at work, and that problem risks patient safety, then the hospital must mandate that he or she receives an intervention like what I do. Well, what I tell you is that I was selected. I was the first person to have a written curriculum, which is my book, The Practice of Control. And so that I get enough referrals, even if I did nothing else but just that, that's okay. It's nothing really to worry about. And again, I'm paid in advance.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
That's unheard of. In the U.S., we don't pay in advance like that, but I get paid in advance. And it's because the narrowness of what I do is such, and it's such a specialty that I can kind of call the shots, because I was the first. And that's what happens when you're the first to do anything. You can charge anything you want. It's just like when I did the consultation on the anger management movie, I had never done it before, nor even talked to anybody who had done it, and so on. but I got away with $5,000 a day. So it's like I can't. I'm not like the rest of the people, and I'm sorry. I don't mean it in a negative way, but I just have been a bit unique.
Yeah, I get that, George. So apart from this, the Amazon affiliate, so if I sell the marketing material or if I sell the programs, I get 20% is what you said, or $20?
No. What I said is, I said Amazon.com pays 20%. But then if you go and you look at Amazon.com, what they're talking about is 20% of a book that costs $35.
Oh, okay.
They don't have anything that costs $8,000.
Yeah, that's right.
So 20% of $8,000, they'd put me in a state hospital. I would be crazy, wouldn't I?
Yeah, that's right. That'll be too crazy. But I just wanted to know what's your affiliate percentage if I sell the marketing material or the training sessions.
Why don't we stick with the training? So let's start off with the training that's cost $1,500. I don't know what the percentage is, but I'll pay you $75 for each training. So forget about the percentage. That's how much I will pay you. Okay. And the reason is that it has nothing to do with how much I make. It's not related to that. It won't take you probably any more time to market that than it would if you're marketing a book for $35. And even if it did, that's the way it operates. It's like the same thing. If we were selling cars, you're not going to get, as a salesperson, 20% of a Rolls Royce. It just isn't that way anywhere in the world, I don't think.
Yeah, so you're saying $75 per head or per person is what you're going to pay me?
No. Per person that you get, not that I get.
Yeah, $75 per person.
Not $35. No. Let's move away from that. I was just talking about Amazon, and I sent you something in writing so you can see it yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
But so let's forget that. Let's talk about me.
I mean, if
I have this training.
If I get somebody from my end through my links or through my marketing referrals, you pay me $75 for that referral is what you say.
No. Forget the $35. For the training that costs $1,500, I pay you $75.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter how many people are there in it, or per person?
No, for each person. No, for each person. So if you get 10 people, you get 10 times $75.
Which is $750. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 10 times $75 is what I'm saying. I mean, if I bring 10 people, or even if there are 10 participants in the training, I get 75 times 10. Right?
Not how many is in the training, because I probably will get more than you, because it's easier. Everybody already knows me.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm talking about the ones that you produce. They came directly from your website.
Oh, okay. I get
from
it.
your efforts.
Oh, okay. I get it.
And so that the way you do it is that you have your website, or however your announcements set up, that instead of having them contact me, they contact you, and you take all the information regarding their credit card and how they're going to pay for it, and then you send information to me. That way it's clear that the referral came from you.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you just a story that this is something that I've been doing for 30 years or more, and it used to be just the anger management training, and it didn't cost as much in the old days. But in any case, I had a person from Northern California say to me that she had X number of people who she had gotten, but the way it works is that when I had her call with me, they said, wait a minute, because I had recognized some of their names. And so that if a person says to me, look, I have been planning to take your training for years, now I've finally decided to do it, and then they happen to call a person in Oakland and sign up, that really wouldn't have been a referral from her because they were going to come anyway. They just didn't know how it worked. But so that was why I had to change it and make sure that from the very beginning, it's clear that it's a referral that you produce as opposed to someone that would have come anyway.
Okay, yeah, I get that. So that should be okay. I'll think about it with respect to affiliate because that's something which I've been tried with any of my clients because most of them I've created content or I've created some marketing material digitally, and uh, even Shara Ruffin or couple of other therapists, they pay me based upon the podcast or the audio video which I create. Um, so, I mean, with respect to the content, or if I do the 2-day training with you, am I still getting
That's
paid?
different.
Okay, that's different.
That's different. It's two separate things, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
You actually spent 2 days with me, and each time you told me from the very beginning that you thought that what I was giving you was right, was reasonable. You thought that was acceptable. Was that correct?
Yeah, I thought that was acceptable because I was expecting as a human behavior, I thought you would hike that to probably $3,000 or $5,000, which is too much, I know. But that's the
It's like in this country. I don't know if you really know it. What you're thinking is just not based in reality. It's like if you. That's why I gave you something from Amazon.com.
Yeah,
If you
I get
find
that.
anyone else, wait a minute. If you find anyone else who's doing it the way you suggested, send it to me because I don't believe it. I don't believe that you can operate a business that way. It's like, if you're a real estate salesman and you sell a house and the house costs $20 million, you're not going to get a percentage of that.
Yeah,
They're going to give you X amount. It doesn't work that way because it just doesn't. And so I'm not going to go for anything like that. And again, you have to keep reminding yourself, if I were desperate and my life depended on it, maybe I would think differently. But I'm not. The world won't make any difference whether I make a single penny for the balance of my life. It won't make a difference. It just won't. We already have everything.
yeah. So
And it's just the truth. And so, but aside from that, I'm not interested in paying you to do a podcast because I don't even know anything about podcasts and it hasn't worked for me. So I don't want to experiment. I would experiment like that if I was 25 years old.
yeah, that's right.
But I don't need to experiment with that because I already know enough things that work. Give you an example. Just listen to this one. A famous university. It's called, and it's on my website. It's called Texas A&M, and it's the School of Engineering. The dean of the school 3 years ago came to Los Angeles. He called me. He came to Los Angeles. He said, I'd like to come and meet with you in person. He met with me at my house 2 days. And he said, I would like for you to, he says, the problem that we have is that when an engineer goes for a graduate degree, that's a master's or a PhD, he or she is preparing to be involved in leadership. And one of the things that they have discovered is that engineers are usually not that great at leadership as would be people from other occupations because the areas in which they are deficits in would be emotional intelligence. And so he says, I would like for you to provide training for our graduate level engineers. So I went and I spent 2 days with them in which they had most of their faculty, many of their graduate students, at least all of the graduate students. And so each day for lunch, we would sit at different tables, the key people like myself, so that whoever was sitting at the table with us would get a chance to see who we were, to ask questions and formally and so on. And in the evening we would have dinner, and it would be the same thing. You get a chance to be exposed to a different group. In a nutshell, what he did is he said, okay, how much would it cost for you to train my engineers every semester? And we agreed on the amount and so on. Well, I can tell you right away is that the amount would be way more than you would expect, because I'm doing something that no one's ever done before.
Wow.
And so that, you know, that's the kind of market that I am. But just because I'm able to make that much doesn't mean I give it to somebody else. And so what I did is that I didn't have enough time, and I told him that in order for the project to be done correctly, let me have my son Brian do it.
Oh.
And so that's what he did, and he did it for 3 years. And so that what he would do is everything is virtual, and so that the students would be given an assessment by Brian, and he would be able to give them what's called, it's the same thing that I do. You give them a debriefing, explaining just the same assessment that you took, exactly what they scored low in, but this time it's related to engineering. And so that we know, well, if you compare a group of engineers who are successful in management with a group of engineers who are not successful in management, now you're dealing with a discrete population. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so you know exactly what you're doing. It's not, I don't do anything generic, period. I'm just not a generic guy. Even when I worked as a psychotherapist, I was trained at Harvard University with 2 years of postgraduate training, specifically to work with children. And so again, I'm not into generic. If everybody else can do it, leave me out. I don't want to be a part of it. And so all I'm saying is that we can expand that to all of the trainings that come up. Plus, I'm constantly looking for additional trainings to offer, capturing more of the population of people, because now what we're discovering is that people are not interested in face-to-face trainings anymore.
Yeah, everything is
because
virtual.
of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right.
And it shouldn't be that way, though. No one expected it not to go back. I thought it was going to go back, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it would be offline trainings, but people are more comfortable on virtual Zoom or video calls. I mean, earlier they used to Skype, but it wasn't like the way it used to be post-pandemic.
And that's just the truth. And so that instead of worrying about going back to what used to be, I want to stick with the new stuff. And so that I will go and create some other. But the other thing that, in terms of you, is, could you imagine that I could train you to do what I'm doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Of course I could. I know that.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I'm not going to live forever. And so you got to think that way. But I'm open. But you have to really have a lot of data to show me what is recommended is realistic. And so that I again, how long have you been trying podcasts, and how would you explain the financial success so far regarding podcasts?
I mean, with any of the clients, it's through Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, because people keep listening as they commute to work or as they shop.
Oh, okay.
So as they spend many hours in traffic, as they're shuttling between cities, there are listeners. There are lots of scope, because everything is voice-based. People play it in the background while they do their chores, while they do the work in the home. And Alexa is all voice enabled. So the Google Podcast and Apple Podcast, there's lots of traction for other clients. So what I'm going to do is probably load all the past videos into a series of podcasts, and boom, there could be inquiries, there could be leads who come from Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, where people would like to connect with Anderson services. So that's something which.
Let me ask you this though. What about now? What is the return on the investment? Are you making a lot that way?
No, I mean,
income.
that's something. No, I'll tell you frankly, George, in the last 2 years, on average, I made $15,000. I mean, every month I make close to $1,000, close to $1,000. It's not exactly 1,000 every month. And when you said $24,000 with 3 physicians, I'm like, wow, that 2 years of my work. It's like probably I can say it's 3 years of my work, which is like way too low.
Well,
And
that's why. Well, why don't we take advantage of a chance to experiment with how you and I can work together and you can make more? I'm not a stingy, cheap person, am I?
No, you're not a stingy person, but I'm positioning myself in such a way that, probably I could be all tears or I could be emotional, but all I'm trying to figure out is that praying to God that, George, please bless me to make at least $5,000 monthly. That's what. Not through you, but through your network. Or, I mean, you kept the offer open, help somebody or promote somebody in the group. And I'm struggling to make $1,000 taking care of 2 children, education, trying to make my living here in India and all. It's been like that for last 15 years of my professional working. But the knowledge which I have, I'm sure that can easily fetch me $100,000. But that's why when I said I can reflect $20,000 or $50,000 in your bank account, I wasn't bluffing, but with your positioning, when you said if you can, I mean, if the corporate giants or if big giants or big telenet or tenet companies or these healthcare companies, when they pay $8,000 to $15,000 monthly or probably for per physician, I totally believe in that because it's possible with your experience. And if I could train somebody on anger management, and if you could show me, Raj, here is how you make $2,000 monthly, $3,000 or $5,000 monthly, I would definitely do whatever it takes to spend daily 10 hours in front of my computer. It doesn't matter how many people I train because for last 15 years, I am at my desk, I am at my computer. I didn't have much of social life, but I spent all my life at computer.
Why don't we start with the training that's coming up in October? And the other thing that I'd like you to do, to think about at least, what do you imagine we can do with our YouTube channel? Is there a way that we can get the YouTube channel to produce income? And I don't know the answer.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, through monetization, it's possible. But with the $1,500 trainings which we are going to offer, we can, we can create a virtual network of anger management facilitators or emotional intelligence virtual network, because that's what the ICF is doing. They bring everybody virtually and they created an alumni network. Lots of other virtual networking companies, they bring everybody on the Zoom. They live stream it to YouTube, they live stream it to Facebook. So we can also live stream, we can do a public forum. But I'm only worried about how many dollars I'm going to get paid for the number of hours which I put in, because as I create this content, probably there would be some blood and sweat and tears, which we call traditionally. There's time which goes into getting that content ready. So apart from the 2 days training, George, with all due respect, I never wanted to hurt your feelings because I thought I'll do whatever.
No.
I thought I'll do whatever you ask me to do. If you say, Raj, jump from Niagara Falls, I'm ready to do it blindfolded. Or you say, Raj, jump from parachute of 1,000 feet, I'm ready to do it because I believe that you are there as a safety net for me at the end of the 10 feet or 5 feet away from the footfall from the ground. I'm sure you will catch me back like an eagle. Because I totally believe in what you ask me to do, because I'm sure you will come back as a Lord Almighty, or I know you're not a spiritual person, but I believe in some universal force that something is driving me towards making my $5,000 monthly, and I still believe in that. In every breath I take, I still believe that.
Oh, I think that's doable, really, and I think that we could work it out. And so that let's. What can you do to accelerate or to enhance the probability that you can get 10 people to come to the anger management training in October?
I mean, I can pump in all the videos. This is for, I have 2 dates. One is October 14th, 15th, and the other one is October 7th and 8th. So you made it like one is $650 and another is $1,500. You mentioned in one flyer I have, one is DV's training, other is facilitator certification. Okay.
Right. Now, the DV training is less. It's, I think, $890.
Oh, it's mentioned as $650, DV batterers intervention.
Oh, that's old, and that's an old one, and we got to dispose of that one. In fact, that's created a problem for me because people, that was an old one, and is still on the website, and the website, of course, isn't working, so that's hurting me a lot. But I sent you something just on 2 emails, and it was last week.
Yeah, that's right. I am looking at those emails now.
But that's 600. Isn't that how much is that's 650?
Yeah, it's listed as October 7th and 8th, 2023, which is like the coming weeks, and it's listed as 650 for batterers intervention.
Okay, what is it? Would you just read what does it say it's doing? What is it for?
It says emotional intelligence facilitation for batterers intervention is a promising
certification.
It says promising alternative.
Is it for the certification?
It says 16-hour continuing education training. It's not the.
Okay, that's different. That's continuing education.
Oh,
so yes, that is correct. Okay, so okay then what I'm going to quickly do then, in fact we can do it now. What about doing? Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, what about going to another week? You can select it and let me know whatever is convenient for you. Another 2 days on the certification, because that's one of the very surprisingly profitable things, the certification that I do, because it doesn't involve any work. There's no presentation on my tab at all. What the person does is they send in the money, $890, and I in turn send them the material, which I think you had seen, and they read the material, they take the quizzes, they send the answers back, and I send them a certificate in the mail.
Okay, which is good. So that is $890.
You see that one?
No, I see the $1,500 one. It said the first 2 training will be recorded. Each participant will receive a copy of these recordings for $65. This is
so what I did is, because you and I had not discussed giving that away, and that was really way too much to give away. And so let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
What's happening to us?
I mean,
the music?
No.
Okay. You know what happened is that's giving too much away, and so I'm not willing to do that again. It will go to only the people who pay the $65. So that's one of the trainings that I'd like you to start working on as soon as you can, and using whatever it is that you think would be useful. The other would be adding the 690, and if you don't have a copy of what's in it, I can send it to you.
Okay, sure.
And just select another date, so that then we'll be going for 3 things.
Okay. So at the moment I have October 14th, 15th for $1,500, but I'm figuring out what is the $890 which you said. Like, is that the one or?
Yeah, that's it.
Because
$890.
Because I received.
That's just it's called Batterers Intervention Facilitator Certification.
Oh, I don't see that. I see only 2 flyers in this document. I mean.
Okay, I didn't send that to you. I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay.
I'll send it to you. We've done it before, but I it wasn't necessary to use you in it because there's no interaction on my part.
I mean,
And so
I'll do whatever it takes to pump up the content on YouTube, George. I'm not consistent, I should agree, for the fact that probably I'm feeling low that maybe I'm getting paid only for the 2 days of Zoom, just being frank with you. I thought I'm not getting paid enough for the content which I'm creating. That's where I felt low, but again, you can say...
Okay, I understand that now. And so that what is going to happen is that each time we do content, it's not something that can be paid in terms of any kind of percentage, because the income that anyone would make would be impossible for me. I couldn't determine how much I'm going to make on any content that you produce. There's no way for me to know how much you're going to make. But if I pay you, I would have lost that amount of money for sure. At least I would have been absent to that.
You will definitely will not lose, George. I would really appreciate if you could connect me to Brian, because I can create amazing content for kids. That's something which I would request. That's secondary. But coming back to the first thing, with the kind of content which I create, I mean, I can create unconditional or unlimited content for you based upon the 10 hours time frame. But if you say, okay, Raj, I'll pay you, I mean, it can be $1,500 or $2,000 monthly. I can create, I mean, daily one piece of content. I can create daily 2 pieces of content. It could be 60 pieces or 100 pieces of content. But I can promise you there will be some traction where the people who watch that content will certainly sign up for batter's intervention, or they will sign up for the facilitator certification, where we will generate revenue. I mean, the amount which you invest will be a fraction of the amount which we are, from the amount which we generate. I can promise you that.
Well, what I'd like to do is start with what I suggested first. Let's take care of these 3 trainings. And again, not asking you to make any content on these 3 trainings, just do the assisting with me on the one and marketing the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there assisting you with these trainings. That's for sure.
Okay, and so what I'll do then is that I will think about not something like a monthly basis, because that's not something. Let's put it this way: if we develop a whole bunch of stuff and then I die, that would be that would be an investment that would have been made. But the assumption that Brian is interested is incorrect. I should have just tell you that, because he's not. That's one. Secondly, wait a minute. Secondly, he's not a businessman. He's a smart person, but he's not a businessman. And so that what is more likely to happen is that Anderson and Anderson, based on what it is that you know that I do, will be sold. And it will be sold to a psychiatrist, not a psychiatrist, but a physician who I train. And so that essentially what is happening is that this physician is going to be retiring from Kaiser Permanente. And I trained him maybe 15 years ago. And so he's in contact with me very frequently. And he's looking for something to do after retiring from medicine, because he's still a young guy.
May know his
and he's going to buy Anderson and Anderson, and so there's no, telling what it is that he will want, but it won't increase the value of Anderson and Anderson if you have all of that content and no one's interested.
I mean, may I know? Is it okay if I know his name? I mean,
yeah, his name is Brian. Ramos, and he's with Kaiser Permanente, and I'll introduce you to him. As a matter of fact, the problem is that he's an emergency room physician, and so it's really difficult for him schedule-wise. He has to do things when he's on vacation or something like that, because there's over let me see. Emergency physicians, we don't have enough emergency physicians to meet the needs currently. And it was exacerbated by the pandemic. And as he tells me now, the pandemic is not going to be bad as it was before, but it's coming back.
Okay.
I just talked to him last week.
I mean, is he from Salt Lake City, Utah?
Say it again?
Is he from Salt Lake City, Utah?
Oh, no, he's from here.
Oh,
He
from
lives here in LA.
California.
Yeah, no. He's not well known that way because he doesn't do anything business-wise. He doesn't do anything at all. He just has a full-time job. And so, again, I coached him, and then we became interested in working together, but he's not done anything with me. But you get a chance ultimately, because I'm going to let him start planning way in advance of some of the trainings as a way of transitioning while I'm still around to make sure that he understands. And his focus is going to be almost 100% with physicians in healthcare. He's not going to be interested in things that are not related to healthcare, I don't think.
Oh, is he from Edwards Life Sciences? I guess he's the guy.
No, he's from Kaiser Permanente. I just explained that. Kaiser Permanente.
Okay. So, okay. I mean...
And he's based in Los Angeles. And so he's not high up in the chain. He's not an administrator. He's just a physician.
Oh, okay.
Emergency room physician.
Okay, that's great.
And
I mean,
so,
it would be great if you could introduce me to him. But what the reason I asked if you could introduce me to Brian Anderson again is because to create some content relevant to children or whatever he's working on. I'm just figuring out a way where I can make consistent income, but that's secondary. Let's promote.
Let me tell you what I'll do is that there are other people who would be better for me to introduce you to, and so that there is one person who you would have been exposed to. I guess she wasn't. She was scheduled to do the feedback on the assessment, and one person from her organization called Laxma. Remember that person?
Yeah, Lakshmi.
Yeah. Okay. The person who she works for is really an incredible businesswoman. And what she does is that she owns facilities for women who have mental disorders, I guess, but not bad enough to be in a hospital. But need to have structured living. Let's say some of them are substance abusers, use alcohol or drugs, and so they're in rehab. So that would be one group. And now she just bought an incredible building.
I know. You're talking about Zena Love.
Exactly. That person is incredible. So that's who I'm going to introduce you to.
Okay, that's
and
great.
She will be able to help you. She will be able to help you more than any one single person that I know, including my son.
Wow.
Because she's like magic. It's like the way she got the money for this building is unbelievable. She just had one meeting with a guy, and I talked to him. The three of us had lunch last week, and he said the same thing. He's like magic. He said he talked to her for about 15 minutes, and he said, look, he said, let me help you find a business, and I'll put up the money. And he did it just like that.
Wow.
And so I went over there this week and had lunch with the two of them again. And she doesn't waste any time. She hired some people, and she says, I want this done in 3 weeks. It was a 2-story building. And I don't know how much it costs. If you ask me, probably about maybe $500,000 or something like that, the building. But in any case, and so what she's adding to that, which is my point is, not children, but adolescents, teenagers in particular. And these are people who, again, the population that my son is familiar with, who are autistic. and they're not going to live there. It's day treatment, and so every morning they'll bring them on a bus. They stay all day, and they pick them up and they take them back. You get it?
Yeah.
And that's 5 days a week.
Wow.
And so that what she will do is that she will use that same space for something different after the kids leave. So if the kids leave at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then she may use that to provide a different service to a different group until like 7 o'clock at night. Anyway, the lady is a genius. I have to give her credit. And so that's the person you need to meet. And her name is Zena.
Yeah, Zena Love. I mean, as you were saying, she was Lakshmi's boss. I just Googled and went back to the company which Lakshmi comes from, because we did send her emails and the materials. So I was like quickly trying to figure out. I mean, Love Home Inc. founder is Zena Love. So I was trying to find out if she's active, but she's not active on LinkedIn.
She's not, because she's a new employee. She's only been there about 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, Zena Love as the founder from Love Home Inc. She's not active on LinkedIn either.
No. She's so busy with other things. I try to get her active, but that's unfortunate. I just haven't been able to.
Yeah, but they're quite active on Instagram, Facebook, which is again the Los Angeles Shelter Supportive Housing.
That's it. That's it. Contact her directly. Let me talk to her later today and let her know to anticipate some contact from you.
Yeah, sure. So if I could drop her an email, or probably through email, let me see if I can drop an email to you and her. Probably you can reply to the email again, and I'll see if I can send any screenshot. And this would be great, George. I will promote the upcoming trainings which we have. And is it okay if you switch on your video, if you don't mind? You just need to hit the camera icon. Let me just hit that.
Okay. I didn't understand what you said now.
I mean, you just need to hit the camera icon. You got to switch to the video.
Well, just a second. Well, just a second. I'm doing what you said first, one thing at a time. It says switch.
There and then now you can see me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry that I'm not good at this, but I wish you could help me.
Yeah, now I can see you.
So, yeah, I'm sitting outside. Can you see anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I heard the birds chirping 40 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago when we were beginning the call. I could hear the birds.
Yeah, it's like I have deer in the backyard here.
Wow.
They come and they go whenever they want to. And it's just an incredible place. And it's north of Sunset. It's in Brentwood. So you'd never expect something like this near Sunset.
Wow.
Sunset is like, goes from the ocean all the way to downtown Los Angeles, through Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and so on.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible. Let me tell you what to do. Write this down quickly. 2300 West Ridge Road, Los Angeles, 9009. That's where I am. That's my house. And you can see my house from the front and maybe the side. But in any case.
I mean, I know your address. I mean, that's something which I Googled when we met 3 years ago, when we were working on direct shifts. So, George, again, I just wanted to check if I come down on a tourist visa, you can take care of. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't pay me also. But if I visit you, can I spend time with you for, let it be 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months? I'm not looking for the payment. I just wanted to learn the things which I'm learning from you on Zoom. I thought, because you keep saying I'm not going to live forever, I'm not going to live forever. I thought, why not spend why not spend another 3 years or 5 years with you? It doesn't matter. You don't pay me, as in it could be like a volunteer, or it could be like somebody who could help you with your Tesla. I remember the 2300 West Ridge Road, Los Angeles, California, 90049.
Okay. Yeah, let me tell you something that's funny, is that you have to think about is that what you were describing in terms of an internship, that's what I think that you would do better, is that why not do one, select something that's not very expensive, that's related to, let's say, the YouTube library that we have, be an intern to make something that's income producing from that. And so that in exchange for that, I then can do something for you, because you have to think about it, is that the time that you spent with me, if I were to monetize that, do you know how much I make an hour? $500. So if I charge you
$500. Yeah, I have to sell my rental properties. I mean, this is my. This is my.
and so I don't say anything like that, because the other person doesn't think about it. But
Yeah,
the reality is, okay, it's like this doctor does. He understands that, and so it's like he's appreciative, and so he understands that I can't just do all of this for free. If you can't do all the things that you said you would like to do for free, I can't either. And so it's like you have to think about it. Okay, what can we learn, or what can we gain from each other? And so I'm interested in taking a tiny project, and let's see what we can do as an internship. I had an intern, by the way, from a business school. Wharton School of Business is very important in the U.S. And so that his name, I mentioned him in something this week. His name is Andrew Swinger. And he came from Wharton Business School, and maybe like 2003 or something like that. And the school had in writing an agreement with me, is that he's an intern. He's only there for the summer, for 6 or 8 weeks or whatever it is. He has to have a project that can be completed in that length of time. And so it was his idea. So what he did is he created the anger management guru, me. And he did. I'll send you a copy of the original. And so what he did is that he marketed it on LinkedIn, and that's how I got that title, the Anger Management Guru, just from the intern. But what did he get out of it? When he went back to school in the fall, one, he got an A in the class, but two, it put him in a strong position to get a good job once he got his MBA.
Wow.
And so you have to think of it that way. You can't just look at it, look how much money and time I'm spending on this project. It's better to tie in, okay, what could I get that may not be directly deposited in the bank?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the power of internship. I mean, just because he worked on the project, he could take off his entire career for the rest of his life. So 80% of the future is built based upon the work which he spent with you. I mean, the internship which with you, and that's what. You should also use that in your LinkedIn profile, that you're certified by Anderson & Anderson. That's not insignificant, because I have social media presence all over the world.